Welcome to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast, connecting real people with expert advice to achieve a healthier lifestyle and live a more fulfilling and abundant life. Here is your host, Coach Tavia.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. I have a great guest this morning, afternoon, whatever time zone it is for you. For those of you who are listening, you can also check this on YouTube as well later on, because there will be a video. Actually, have a guest speaker today, Mr. James Timmons, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I want to make sure I said that. Yeah. So James and I, the reason why I brought James on, well, first and foremost, James and I met through our real estate business, and he works for a different brokerage, but we've interacted. We had some deals together, things like that. So, but we met through the real estate industry. But the reason why I'm bringing on him today is because he has had an incredible journey the last year, maybe year and a half, with battling mental illness. And he had quite a journey, and I'm going to have him talk a little bit about his journey as much as you would like to talk, James, of course. But the big thing about his journey was the expense. And the things that had not been covered. It was a big surprise to him. So we are going to be talking a little bit about that. And I think, and I hope a lot of you will probably understand this. And I think some of the listeners out there, James, will probably totally relate to you as well, because I sure did. So anyway, so thanks for being here. Thanks for being on and coming on my show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about just kind of, the need for, insurance, to be more willing to cover mental health stuff. Cause my experience, I don't have mental illness, but I have, basically I did some things that, caused a lot of problems in my life. I made some bad choices. Okay. And then, so I kind of discovered that there's always a reason why somebody there's not always a good reason, but there's always a reason why somebody exhibits destructive behavior or addictive behaviors or something, So that was kind of the journey that I went on, why I did what I did. And then, it led, but with that though, it's hard because I think insurance, they want you to get referrals from, a doctor. But I mean, when you know that there's something wrong with you, and you sort of I need to go somewhere safe to get help. Yeah. Then you can't, it's impossible a lot of times to just get insurance to cover that. So that was my. Anyway.
Can you talk about your journey and actually what you went through? I'm sorry, I will stand corrected. So you didn't have I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say mental illness, but you had some challenges in life and some things that you went through. Can you, with all due respect, obviously you don't have to go into depth into your personal business, but whatever you choose to share is wonderful, just so that listeners can get an idea of what you went through and then what your experience was with getting the help.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so basically, I guess I made some bad choices that affected my marriage. And then, I tried to, repent and reconcile from my bad choices. And then, I went to a facility in Edmonds called the Center, a place of hope. And, and I basically discovered that I had a lot of unmet emotional needs, and I sort of kind of I demonstrated addictive behaviors.
Okay.
To fill those needs. Sorry, I'm trying to talk around it.
You're fine. No, you're fine. And and you don't have to get super. Yeah, no. And this is whatever you feel comfortable sharing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so, basically what I discovered is, that, I'm a people pleaser, and, that was like sorry, so like I'll just say it. Like I had an affair, and
Okay.
and I mean, a lot of people know that, but so I discovered that it was I'm sorry, I didn't expect to actually share that, but
yeah, take your time, and yeah, please. This is
okay,
a safe space.
okay,
You're safe, totally safe. No, and no judgment. That's what I love. And thank
yeah,
you for sharing this. Obviously, I'm really grateful you're sharing this right now. No, I mean, yeah. So there was an affair outside of your marriage. So you made some wrong choices.
mm-hmm.
You have discovered that you were you weren't getting some needs emotional needs that you needed.
Yeah,
Totally
and I can't.
understandable. Yeah,
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 and so like
yeah.
I figured out that there was a root kind of cause, or I mean like a human need that I never had, like when I was like from when I was
Yeah,
my
right.
mom left when I was young, and so there was a lot of unmet needs, and so I didn't realize that I had that huge vulnerability
Yeah.
until like it just kind of came to a head, and I had all these secrets. But then so like I was doing this, like I had this addictive behavior, but because like I had a reputation and like a family and everything,
Yeah.
I buried it as a secret. So then um
Okay.
so uh
Some
but
shame in there, probably some shame.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was one thing that we
Mm.
actually learned a lot about at the center, was like how to deal with shame. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, so because of that, I I learned a lot about myself, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, like whenever it's anyway. Sorry. So basically,
No, you're good.
to get to the bottom of it, it was like
Yeah.
I learned that when somebody has um, destructive behaviors or like addictive behaviors, there's always a root. There's always a root cause to that. It's not always
Always.
a good excuse, but
No, it always stems back to somewhere.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. 100%. Yeah, I do that a lot with I do a lot of uncovering of root causes with a lot of my clients as well. Emotional stuff is big. And yeah, so okay, so you went away, you got some treatment.
Yeah.
And how long were you in treatment for?
It was a 2 week kind of inpatient. Well, I was outpatient, but I stayed like just a couple miles away from the facility for 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay. So 2 weeks. And then are you still kind of doing therapy now? Are you still?
No.
No. Okay. 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 That's good.
I need,
So you need to?
yeah.
Okay. I think we all need therapy in some
Mhm.
way. I always consider us all a work in progress,
Absolutely.
we all have a past. Our parents did the best they could, right, at raising us. No one
Yeah.
came with a manual, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like everything that we went through as a child always shapes us as an adult. And obviously that came full front for you, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So where are you at? And then we'll talk about the insurance stuff and what you found and the frustration of that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But so where are you at now? I guess come full circle. You and your wife, are you together? And
We're separated at the moment.
you're separated. Okay. Okay.
But like the pain that it all caused. I confessed everything about a
Yeah.
year ago, and so the
Yeah.
last year has been just a lot of trying to repair, and then
Yeah.
just pain.
Healing.
So
Yeah.
so at the moment it's kind of like she needs a little bit of time to heal, like where I'm not there.
Yeah.
But so
sure. Everybody heals in their own time.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it was like I was home for the last 4 months, and then it was hard on the kids, just so we needed to kind of like take a little bit of a step back.
Sure.
But,
sure. Yeah. Are you still like, is this something that you're hoping that you can mold back together as a family? Is this your hope? And I hope for you too. Yeah. There's hope there. Always hope there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
That's awesome.
I mean, the hardest part with dealing with just like with my mental health through all this is just, like the guilt and the shame
Yeah.
and the regret. And
Yeah.
so like, cause when it's unfortunately, it's not an uncommon thing,
No.
adultery. And so,
Right.
a lot of people, will do destructive things to like, because they're dealing with the consequences. And so like me, sorry, this is like a tell all of a sudden, but
it's
me,
awesome.
The last like year, it's just been like a massive battle with depression and like thoughts of suicide, things like that. And then,
right.
But it actually, it's strengthened me but just with like resilience.
Yes.
Because like I keep hoping that things will start to kind of improve and get better. And so
I love it. Resiliency. I love that word. Yeah. And and you're a man of faith, right?
Yep.
You're a man of faith. Yeah. And I am too. Obviously I'm wearing a little cross around my neck, Christian woman. And obviously that plays a huge part, right?
Yeah.
And getting us through, tapping into that. Absolutely. So you've gone through, this has been, I mean, no matter what mental state we are in, no matter what storm we're going through, the storm is real, raw, it's emotional, it's there.
Yeah.
Once we go through it, I love that, what you say about being resilient, getting through it. And then you did have to go through some depression. All these feels, right? All the feelings of emotions have all come up. And so what a journey for you. What a, and I always believe God puts us through this for us. A lot of people say, why is this happening to me? It's not happening to you. It's happening for you. Have you heard that before?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And as much as we hate that sometimes, like, why me? Like my Lyme disease, like, why me? Why me? Well, I always say, and you guys hear me say this, my mess became my message. And the mess I went through. And you're doing the same thing. I think even being here today, you're sharing. So thank you.
Like you said, I mean, it's going through it. I'm kind of hoping that, I could warn people of like the consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you taking what you've learned and your experiences and actually this is helping people being here today, obviously, but are you finding you want to do something with that or no?
I've become like, that when you do something that is really bad, like you want to run and hide. But then like the last few weeks, I've become a little more okay with sort of sharing about it. And then like the perspectives from other people have been really like refreshing and comforting and stuff. But I do hope to kind of glean a lot of wisdom from it. Like when I was part of my journey. Okay, so back in September, I was at the point where I remember I wrote this down. I was like, I felt dead, like emotionally, like just I felt my soul was dead. So I was like, I need to do something. And so I was just like desperate. And this is where this kind of talks about the insurance stuff also. I went to, I wanted to go to just like, to get out of the area for a while and like be in intensive counseling. So my insurance wouldn't cover anything. And I looked into all these different places, and there was a rehab facility in Florida called Rico Intensive. Okay. And so I reached out to them and I said, this is what I got going on. I think I have, like love addiction or something like that. And they said, we could help you out. And so they said, it was going to cost like $25,000. So I got a personal loan, unsecured personal loan for $25,000. Flew out there, and then it was just drug and alcohol rehab. So it didn't really apply to me. And I was there.
Not my problem.
Yeah. Well, I was there for like 3 days, and I was like, okay, this is a mistake. I shouldn't have come. But when I was there, I gleaned a lot from. There were a lot of kids that were like in their early 20s or whatever, and they like they were into crack and heroin and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Real.
alcohol. And so these were people that, like, the one thing that I kept saying before I went over to Florida, the one thing I kept saying was, like, I can clearly see that I'm destroying my life. Like I can clearly see it, but I don't have the power to make myself stop,
Right.
And so, and then like the kids who were, into drugs and stuff, they had the same thing. Like, I don't want, like, I didn't really want to be a crackhead, but I just kind of, like, I was super vulnerable, and this drug made me feel a certain way that, like, nothing else made me feel that way. So like, it was really that, so like the addictive behavior is there because there's a pain.
Yes.
And so then
it's all the same. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So then I came back home and then went to Edmonds, and then we kind of, like, that was actually mental health.
Right. Gotcha. Oh, wow. Yeah, no. And that's the thing. I want to stop there for a minute, because addiction is addiction. It's just, it's a finding something that suffices a need that is lacking somewhere. Right. Absolutely. It doesn't matter what the poison of choice is, if you will.
Absolutely.
But for you, there was a need of security, safe, love, belonging, feeling loved and attended for, and stuff like that. Absolutely. Oh man. Wow. That's crazy. So you went to Florida, and then was like, that's kind of a funny story.
Yeah.
So, okay. So let's talk about the insurance. Let's go there for a second. So in my world with Lyme disease, like, oh my gosh. So when you posted that thing on Facebook, I was like, oh my God, we're going to go there on my podcast, because I've forked out so much money out of pocket for my Lyme. They just don't, like, there's insurances don't recognize the things I do as, like, something that's actually going to help me, which it does. And I have to do alternative things. But what's crazy, and I have family members that have had mental health issues and drugs, addiction, stuff like that, my family. And I remember going through it with my brother, getting him the help for the mental and the addiction, stuff like that. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. And then I was like, oh, you don't have insurance? Oh, you don't have state? Oh, it was just, oh my gosh. Now, so you had insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But still they wouldn't cover it.
Yeah. I've tried to contact them a few times since then to, like, see if there's, like, a possibility to get a refund, but no, they won't cover it.
It's crazy to me. Like, why isn't your mind? It's part of your brain, your body. Yeah. Why emotions? Like, isn't it crazy?
I think mental health is more important than, like, just about any other type of health. But yeah,
we need our mind to work our body.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had to throw something at my dog because they're fighting over here. That's the realness of my podcast. Anyways, but yeah, that's absolutely. It's like, it blows me away.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, and there are some, I mean, when I was in Edmonds, there's a lot of people that their insurance did cover it, but I think that they had gone through, like, years of, mental illness, or they had, like, a diagnosis, or,
right.
But, so yeah, I mean, but, like, I mean, there, for me, I think I would have a hard time, like, making a case for insurance to cover it. But I think that, like, if somebody wants to deal with their mental health, then it's better to deal with it before it becomes, like, a crisis,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So that kind of spurred a question in my head. So did you feel, at what point were you like, whoa, I need to get help? Was it, like, at the point of no return where you're just like, I mean, my marriage is, my wife kicked me out, like, whatever. Was it, like, bad? And then you're like, I need help? Or were you, like, going through the process and being like, I know this is not right? Like, I'm questioning that a little bit about you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was, in September, when I had written down, I was, like, journaling, and I said, that, my soul felt dead. And I just felt like I didn't want to live,
Yeah.
And every morning I'd wake up just like, oh man, I remember I prayed to die, but so I was like, this is, but I read something somewhere recently where it said like, or no, I was watching a TED talk, and the guy said, with like, with mental health, is it that in suicide, is it that you want to die or you just don't want to feel this way anymore? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to die, because like, but
you have children,
yeah,
you have kids,
but I desperately didn't want to feel like that anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta do something. I gotta get out of here. I gotta deal with this. And but yeah, when I went to Edmonds after that like 1 week journey to Florida, when I went to Edmonds, it was really refreshing, like to be around a bunch of people who also were like, there were people there with PTSD and all kinds of trauma and like mental breakdowns,
Yeah.
And they, I told them my story, like when I was scared to tell my story, and there was like no oops, sorry, I just accidentally there was no judgment or anything, and it was just like this safe environment, and they were just
That's
receptive
awesome.
to it. Yeah,
that's how it should be. Yeah.
But a lot of people, when it all came out, a lot of people wanted to help, and a lot of that looked like they wanted to give like the solution when like, we didn't even know the root of the problem. So
right. Ooh, that's such a good point. Such a good point that you made. The solution. A lot of people just want to offer their free advice, and like, well, just do this and do that, blah, 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 blah. Well, no, it's just like health health, body health, mind health. It doesn't matter what health part of it, right? There's always a root cause. There's always a root cause to everything. And there's always a root cause to something going on here with depression, anxiety, things like that. A lot of times, depression, anxiety is also related to gut health, by the way. Oh. If they say your brain is your second gut. There's your second stomach kind of thing. But the gut brain connection is very real. So a lot of times people come to me, they have anxiety, depression. I always am like, what's your gut doing? What's your tummy doing? So we always look at that too. Okay, awesome. So I want to go back again to the insurance thing. So a lot of insurances, like I said, we talked about that, like, don't take it. That's such a frustrating thing. And I know there's a lot of listeners out there too, that have dealt with that too. It's like not standard or not, covered or whatever. So you had to fork out a lot out of pocket then last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your real estate business, were you having to take a little sideline to that too?
Yeah, I mean, just the way that life was happening in 2021. I mean, first of all, 2020 was a crazy year for everyone.
Right.
And so like business struggled for me then, but then the first half of 21 was pretty good. But then the second half just completely shut down for me because I was so, fixated on this like crisis that I'd put myself in,
Sorry about that. Someone is coming to my door. Of course, I told you guys that the dog would bark at least once in this video. So, excuse me, we're going to pause this just for 1 second. I'm going to pause you just for 1 second.
I want to go to the bathroom real quick.
Yep. So James, so you had this amazing journey. I mean, it wasn't like a great, amazing journey.
No. A crazy journey.
Yeah. Right. So to the listeners out there, what would be like one lesson or like one thing advice you would give to someone that's kind of going through this? Because you said you had depression. You were thinking thoughts of, ending your life, know, like what advice would you give?
I mean, honestly, going back to the faith thing, I would say just be obedient, like to you're not as wise as you think you are. Like, don't think that the consequences aren't going to catch you because just listen to God, honestly.
He's our leader.
And, but at the same time, that's really easier said than done because, again, I never thought I was going to like be in that situation,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna go do this. It was more,
Right.
it was more like one, because someone told me one time, like, an affair is not like just like a, instant thing. It's a grave that you dig one spoonful at a time, like you do one tiny little step, and then but it's like, I guess, be careful. Sorry, there's better advice I have in my brain somewhere. Okay. But it's more just I guess like love selflessly. And the biggest, I think the biggest lesson I gleaned from all of this is, have you watched that movie about Tom Hanks when he's Mr. Rogers, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Mr. Rogers said in that movie, he says, all people are precious and all people have pain. So like, those are two very simple but profound truths.
Yeah.
And like, you have to understand about that about yourself, that you are precious, but you also have pain. And then like all my life, I never really dealt with any of my pain until it just started appearing in these little, destructive behaviors that I would manage as little secrets, Yeah. So it's like, if you have secrets, that should be an identifier that there's something at the root of that. You need to deal with that, And then get yourself in counseling, be around people who you can safely share those things with and help you deal with it. But like I said, there's two types of people. There's those that are going to want to give you a solution and try to modify your behavior and control you. And there's those who just want to understand your heart.
Right.
That's the best way to go about it. Just try to understand somebody's heart. So, and
be there for you. Just be there for you. Not try to solve everything. I had a friend say that to me once, because I'm a coach. And they're like, I don't need you to be a coach right now. I need you to be a friend. And I was like, oh, and I took a step back and I was like, okay, she's right. Yeah. She just needs a friend. She doesn't need me to like tell her what to do. If she did, she would come into my office and make an appointment, kind of thing. And so that hit me pretty hard. And so I love what you said. And I do feel that. And I think that is super important. Sometimes just be there. Be there. Just be there. Be a friend. Just listen. Have a heart. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, most people who are like doing destructive things, like they know what they need to do most of the time.
Yeah.
So like, it's really just like I know, like I know what I need to do and what I need to stop doing, but I can't make myself. So let's go down this journey, and figure out why I'm doing it. Right. And then once you get down to the why, they're like, oh, okay, so that. Now we can find a solution,
Right. I love that you found that. I love that you discovered that through this journey. A lot of people don't. It takes years for them to discover that, Yeah. So I'm so glad. And you took the time, effort, energy, and went and got help. Yay. You're working on you. You're investing in you. And going back to the insurance thing, even though, so with me as being a health and life coach, I don't take insurance. But I keep my rates reasonable because of that. But another reason I don't like to deal with insurance either. But the thing is, a lot of people, when they come to me, they are ready and they are like, I have a problem. I need to invest in me. And that's a powerful thing. Yeah. When you're at that point in your life, when you're like, I don't care what. I had a guy yesterday come to my office. He's like, I've been a doctor after doctor. They keep running, give me the running around. And I like, fine, we're going to do this. He's like, you did more for me in 1 hour than all the doctors did in the last year. I was like, wow, that's cool. That's a nice compliment. But nonetheless, like when you invested that 25, it was 25,000, right?
Yeah. 25,000.
25. That's a big chunk. That's like half somebody's yearly salary, And that's a lot of money, and you'll never get that back, but you're getting your life back. Yeah. So that's the investment that the investment that's paying you dividends in life, right? For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, any final words that you want to say? Just anybody out there? Any other wise words? You said some nice wise words already, but anything final words?
No, I said more than I expected.
You did so well. Thank you so much for sharing. No, this was awesome. And I know this is going to help some people that are listening out there. I'm so excited that you took some time out of your day and shared this with me, James. It means a lot to me.
Thank you for creating a safe space to share. So
yeah. And you're welcome back anytime if you ever need to talk about anything else. So, all right. Well, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And God bless you and your family. And I wish you continued good health and through this next year. I know you're a rock star. You're an amazing agent. You're a stellar, and guys, also, he's also really funny too. James is, he puts out some funny videos. I think my favorite one that you did was the way people say things in the Tri-Cities.
Oh yeah.
Washington.
Yeah.
Washington. Cadillac. Yeah. I'm going to Cadillac. Oh, that drives me nuts when people say Cadillac. I'm like, it's Cadillac.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So if you guys ever want to check out his channel, I'll send you the link to that. That was pretty funny. You got to do some more of those. Put laughter. Yeah, you need to do some more humor and laughter because that's one of the best medicines, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you. That will conclude our show today. Thank you again, James, for being on. Yeah. Everybody have a fabulous day, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
You've been listening to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast. To learn more about the topics mentioned on today's show, please visit sweetcoachtavia.com.